If you think after the Kumail and Gianni podcast that we're trying to take like a stylistic break, then that's absolutely not the case. We wanted to be back as soon as possible. We wanted to talk to you guys as quickly as we could, but nazar lag gayi. Ironic coming from me. The whole house has been sick. The kids, the co-hosts, the podcasters, the producers. It's been day 7 of this weird flu viral situation, and you can still hear from my voice. It's not an effect, guys. It's actually a viral, chest viral infection. And it's eating me alive. And still, we were like, it's been too late. We haven't spoken to the fam in a while. We dropped our biggest podcast of all time, 100%. That happened. Overnight sensations. Bashar technically cannot leave his house anymore and go to even Walmart because he gets swarmed by the paparazzi outside. Just part and parcel of doing the job. But here we are trying to catch up with the PSL. That's all we've been watching. That's all we've been doing, is catching up with the PSL. Obviously, we're going to check on the second most important league that's happening, the Logan Cup in Zimbabwe. We're going to check on that. And then a smaller league happening in somewhere in the subcontinent called let me check notes, IPL. We'll do a little bit of a review on what's going on there as well. Obviously, all fun and jokes with me as always, my brother, my co-host, someone who suspiciously is not sick, Bashar Sayed.
I somehow escaped the viral flu.
That has engulfed the entire house but you.
Yeah. Maybe I have better, what do you call them? The antibodies.
Immunity?
Better immunity.
This guy goes to the gym twice now. And now
Bro,
he's like
yesterday I did biceps for the first time in 3 months, and now I can't even open my arms. Like my arms are just stuck here.
Yeah. Well, how many, what pounds? Like, do you want to show your routine?
40 pounds on the bicep curler.
Okay, 40 on the curler. Is that 40?
I did 30 and I was just doing like 13 reps.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, Shoaib Akhtar says, low weight, high repetition.
Yeah.
Like Shoaib Akhtar once said that he did like 100 reps of like leg extensions. And only Shoaib Akhtar can do that.
And then that's why he gets weekly, what is it? Knee surgery? Gode are out.
Gode se pani.
Gode se pani, yeah. I'm going to try to my best not to cough my way through this. There's a lot going on here. Obviously, everyone's heard the news. A lot of you guys have already seen the podcast with Kumail and Gianni. If you haven't, if you've been living under a rock, we did a podcast with Oscar-nominated. Is he Oscar-nominated, Bashar?
I think his wife is.
His wife is Oscar-adjacent nominated. Oscar presenter. Kumail and Gianni, he was on the podcast for an hour and 35 minutes. We talked cricket.
The thing with doing a podcast with Kumail and Gianni is like, how do you top yourself? How do you...
I'll tell you.
How?
We did the podcast with Kumail. It made waves. People talked about it. News outlets covered it. But the greatest joy for me was being mentioned on the top of the podcast on Batta Fast. Not only by Ahmed, who's a friend of the podcast, by Usman, who's also a friend of the podcast. They talked about our podcast. That's how you know.
I love that. First, seeing them two back together, it's like Batman and Superman.
Strings forming together.
Who's Faisal?
Who's Faisal? That's a good question. I think Usman is Faisal and Bilal is Ahmed, the more creative one that comes with the guitar sounds. Faisal is just like we'll throw like a good like vocal melody here and there, but like it's actually Bilal kind of holding the fort behind the scenes. That's Ahmed. The creative analogies. Usman is Usman, obviously. He's like the guy, like the front face. He has like the monologue about what is it? Zindagi Andhera in that song. Tarikhiyon mein udte rahe wale jo gana hai. You know what I'm talking about, right? He has that whole shairi wala monologue. Koi bhi nahi hai, koi bhi nahi. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's Usman. Like he'll be front and center. He'll write for ESPN every now and then. But the guy holding the fort, the one that's making the melody sound, that's Bilal. That's Ahmed, in my opinion. So they made a 90s joke that totally flew over my head regarding someone who left Junoon and String at the same time. No idea who that is.
I think speaking of band analogies, then that makes us Oasis.
That's Oasis.
Brothers in a band.
Yeah. Somebody commented on their podcast. I didn't do this, by the way. Somebody said, Nazar Bashar Senior. Somebody said that. It's on the comment. You can check it out. That was the highlight of my
also,
week.
like, speaking of viral stuff, I think there's another viral bug going out. It's called the Ifti Mania.
Ifti Mania.
If you watch today's match, Zalmi versus Houston.
Is this your segue into the PSL?
This is. So this podcast, we'll be talking about the PSL, what's happened so far, why has Hyderabad not won a game yet, and why is Pindiz in competition with them to see who finishes at the bottom of the PSL points table.
It's almost like if you just focus more on marketing and not on actually team building, your team might actually suck. It just kind of feels like they've proven the formula.
I thought their team did not match their entire mantra of their marketing and their
the
branding.
Pindiz.
Yes. Because the Pindiz were like, oh, we're gonna like break the norm, one word name team, bright colors, bold, going out of the ordinary, but your captain is Mohammad Rizwan. So that just like it doesn't match what you're trying to sell,
I agree. Before that, I think we should do like an encompassing review of the PSL. We should take a look at the points table and see what's going on there, and what we can gather from the information we have regarding the points table. Firstly, everyone's been talking about this. It just feels like it's been 25 years since the second PZ match. PZ at this point has played 3 games, but it feels like they've played 0. They had 1 game before today. They had 1 game that they played. 1 game got rained out, and then they didn't have a game for like 10 days. What kind of scheduling is that? Babar Azam is still the biggest name in the country when it comes to cricket. People want to see more of that. At the same time, by the way, Multan Sultan's 5 games.
And also, like, Karachi had a big gap between their games, so some of their players left Pakistan
And
went
then
on like a mini vacation and came back.
No, some of the players left Pakistan, were caught drunk driving, and now might face charges in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
But did he get caught now?
Yeah, he got
was
caught
that
now.
caught before? How can you go from Karachi to Sydney and come back within like 5 days?
I think it's a direct flight from Dubai. So you fly to Dubai, which is 3 hours, and Dubai, that's an 18-hour flight. It's completely doable.
That's so crazy.
They released 4 or 5 players, as I understand, from Heather Azhar's press conference. They released 4 or 5 players. Zampa was one of them. I don't know if Zampa went back to Sydney as well, or if he just went to Dubai. Azam was released, and when somebody else was also released. A couple more people were released, and which was fine. Like they have a 8-day window. You can go and come back, and do whatever you want. And obviously the bubble is very, what is it? Claustrophobic in some sense, because you're kind of stuck in this one hotel unless like there's like a group activity plan for paddle or whatever. You're not really allowed to leave the hotel, as we have already heard from the scandals that have come out from Lahore Qalandars camp. And so like I get the idea of releasing players, but then in the meantime, crazy stuff that's happened to David Warner. I don't even know how to even begin dissecting that.
I think this bubble fatigue is not just in the PSL, it's also in the IPL and basically any league you play within South Asia. I was just hearing Pat Cummins on a podcast. It's called the Business of Sports podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how players like to go to the MLC in the US because they can play cricket and also like be in the US in the summer and roam around in the streets without being recognizable. And that is not possible in Pakistan.
I mean, for Pat, he won the World Cup, came home and no one recognized him. So like,
I think
anonymity is not his problem.
Steve Smith famously spends his summers in New York.
Yeah.
And he loves to like walk around Central Park because he can just blend in with the people there.
Steve Smith might be the greatest Australian batsman of all time. Just, nobody cares in New York City. There's always someone more famous around the corner. That's the vibe I got in LA when we were doing the Quetta and Gianni podcast. Just walking down Rodeo Drive. I was like, you remember we were just walking down Rodeo and then you suddenly see like girls cheering at the traffic light. You're like, who the hell was that? Probably some big shot that we had no idea.
I think we were out there trying to like celebrity spot, but we didn't spot anybody.
Because we already talked to the big one, Quetta and Gianni, an hour and 35 minutes in the podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's in the description below. Yeah. Moving on. The table stands like this. Now we have 8 teams, which is nice to see, a bit more populated from the 5 that we had.
But
6 years ago.
In effect, there's still like 6 teams because Hyderabad and Pindiz haven't won a single match.
Yeah.
So they haven't made a dent in the points table yet.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 are Multan Sultans, Karachi Kings, Islamabad United, Peshawar, Zalmi, the usual suspects. Multan kind of going on a run here with the rebrand. I mean, Gohar Shah's actually showing the owners how to do it right, especially the owners of the bottom 2 teams. Like, hey, you can buy a brand new franchise team that kind of not have a lot of experience when it comes to running a team. But if you have the right pieces and you have the right idea, you could be 5 for 4 and be the top of the table and have a very good shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, Multan is interesting where Gohar Shah was not directly involved in the draft.
Yeah.
But he came back into the team post-draft and he made a few significant trades. So he got Saad Masood in there, he got Arfat Minhas in their team. And we're going to talk about this in detail, but Arfat Minhas right now is the highest impact player, according to Cricinfo, of this PSL so far. If you've been a fan of Backward Point, if you're a listener for, I want to say, over a year, you know that my Arfat Minhas agenda is strong. And I think this guy is the future. We should invest in him, get him into the Shaheens, get him to play domestic, because he's showing time and time again why he's probably ready now for the big game.
I would say not only Arfat Minhas, but Samir as well. A bit
Hard
younger.
disagree.
A bit younger.
His
But
brother, he's good, but he's too young.
the Minhas brothers themselves have, I think they're the star breakouts of this PSL, not only in terms of performances, but also in terms of the story. Have you seen their clips with their dad? Their dad is just a PSL photographer, or like a PCB photographer, I believe. And he, firstly, young dad, so I like my future with Mikael and Yusuf in the next 15 years. Hopefully they'll play for Canada or Pakistan. I don't know.
Hopefully not for Canada.
Hopefully
With the
not for
news coming out with Canadian cricket.
Excuse me. Just lovely story there. And I think the PSL is doing a really good job. Islamabad, everybody who's in part of that story is doing a really good job amplifying that story, because right now we need positive, fun, heartwarming stories like that. The one that the Minhas brothers have. If you're not aware, like I said, the Minhas brothers' father is a PCB employed photographer, and he's like a crazy cricket fan, probably. I'm assuming, is doing his day job, a proper blue collar worker, and his sons are now like the stars of the PSL. And like, there's a video going on where he's just talking about his sons, and it's just like he's so proud, almost tearing up. That's the type of stuff that I love to see coming out of the PSL. A few years ago, there was a very small moment that still has impacted me so much. Of, I think it was Colin Monroe. Was it Colin Monroe? Yes, it was Colin Monroe. It's from Islamabad United, and he was running to stop a six, and the ball boy dropped the ball, and he like taught him how to catch it or whatever. I think a few deliveries later, maybe a couple of hours later, the ball goes straight to the ball boy, still for six, and he catches it. And it's still one of the most viral moments coming out of the PSL. And this is like the organic stuff that happens when you're just having a world-class league like this. So I love the Minhas brothers. I love what they stand for. I love their story. I hope to see more of them.
There's also a image circulating of their dad, who has taken them to a match at the Gaddafi Stadium in 2015. This is when Zimbabwe came to Pakistan. Was it World 11? I think one of those teams. And both of them went to watch that match with their dad. And now they're playing at the Gaddafi Stadium, and they're like, they're in the spotlight. So love to see it. I think Sameer Minhas, I was really looking forward to seeing him bat, just because in the age group level, he did really well. In the Under-19 World Cup, in the men's Under-19 World Cup, the Asia Cup Under-19s, he scored 100 against India in the final. Really good batsman there, but he struggled in that one game he played for Pakistan Shaheen. So I thought, you could be good at the age group level, but to go and graduate to the Shaheen's level or the PSL level, that's going to be another test for him. So for him to come out in the PSL and dominate, he looks good. But one thing we should not do is fast track him. Let's let him cook in domestic for at least 2 to 3 seasons. Get him on Shaheen's tours, get him some exposure, put him in the NCA, get him the right sort of training, diet plans, nutrition. Don't fast track him based off of one good PSL season or just like 2 or 3 good innings.
I totally agree. Amen to that. I hope people, the right people, are listening to this. Karachi Kings, 3-4-3. Are you on the Kings wagon? Is that happening for you? Is that happening for us?
Look, the question is, has Karachi Kings now become likable? And I'm not just asking this question because the owner followed us on Instagram.
Did they?
And there is a potential of working with Karachi Kings next season. I'm not asking that because of this.
Yes, of course.
But like, they've won 3-3. They seem like a more likable team. I think Hyderabad, and ever since Salman Iqbal's son Shayan Salman took over, they've rebranded. And over the past 2 or 3 years, they look like a different team. They have a pretty strong core group now.
There is a breath of fresh air coming from the Karachi Kings camp. They have a few Karachi players in there, like Azam there, who, by the way, just had one of the knocks of the PSL this season for me. And then they have Agha there, who's been, the spine of Pakistan cricket for so long now. And he's just they just look like a more likable bunch of players, even though David Warner stuff is a little bit dark. And I hope, everyone comes out okay from that scandal or whatever that is. But apart from that, even that scandal, putting that aside, they just look like a power bunch. I love an Abbas Afridi cameo, the way that he's finishing games. Like, what is he like? He's played 3 deliveries in the last 2 games for Karachi and finished the game in all 3 of them, like a 6, a 4, and a 6. And that's like his last 3 deliveries in the PSL. And like the way they've caught my attention as a Karachiite, as a Qatar Karachi, as someone who took 30 minutes talking about Karachi to Kumail Nanjiani. I mean, it was just a shame that we weren't able to relate to that kind of fan base. I still think there's glaring issues, especially when it comes to what the Kings can do for Karachiites, and to have that engagement. But you know what? The leaf is turning over, and my associations, we'll see by the end of the PSL where they lie. But I am warmer towards Karachi than I was pre-PSL.
I might be wearing a United varsity jacket.
Yeah, you're throwing up United right now.
But from the inside, I bleed Karachi.
Okay. So are you 100% moving towards the Kings camp, or are you still on the fence?
I'm on the fence. Like if there's a Karachi versus Islamabad match, I'll be like, okay, whoever wins, I win either way.
Okay. So you're in that camp right now. Okay. I still would say United is still my team. I'm still loyal to the red and the gold. But as it stands, the other share around the corner is calling me, and I'm enticed.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see. Islamabad United, like we said, is the third team on the block right now, coming in at 4 games, 2 wins, 1 losses, and an NR in there as well. Islamabad has been a little hot and cold this season, but that's sort of been their seasons for the past 2 seasons. They start a bit hot and cold, and then they catch momentum near the middle at the end, and they peak near the end.
My observation is that teams who peak at the right time in the PSL. So it doesn't matter really how you start, but it's about how you gain momentum and get your combination right, and towards the middle end and back end of the tournament. And I think Islamabad, this PSL is also very different because every team has a squad of 20 players.
Yeah.
And you can only play 11. So it's really hard to find that right combination. And
maybe a little too many options there. Maybe you should have moved it to a 16-man squad, and then that way you kind of zero in on your players, and the ones that you're going to rotate.
I mean, also like in the PSL, it's like a 6-week-long tournament, so injuries happen, players become unavailable. They can be international call-up. So having a 20-man squad isn't the worst thing, but the good thing is that we're getting some good talent out of Islamabad. They've been one of those teams that every year they give opportunities to emerging players, and we find 1 or 2 really good talents from Islamabad. And aside from Samir Minhas, I'm really looking forward to see Faik. I think he's a good batsman. Has a pretty good record in T20s and domestic. So, yes, Imad Wasim is still an active player. I would have hoped that Mehran Mumtaz got some games, because I think he's a very similar player to Imad, and he could be our future as well.
I hope you're talking about cricket still.
Cricket, yes, right. Yeah.
Similar
but Islamabad is one of those franchises that whenever they go in the draft, they want to get players at a really cheap price. So last season, Mohammad Nawaz was going unpicked, and Islamabad bought him in silver. So it's kind of like Nawaz is on sale. It's like a clearance sale. Heather Early was unsold in PSL 9.
Yeah,
they bought him in silver.
My wife loves Easter chocolate, and we don't celebrate Easter, but they just went on sale, and then she went and got all the Easter chocolate from all the different companies. It's kind of like that.
It's the same thing. Imad also unsold, and they bought him for 1 crore.
No, 60 lakhs, I believe.
No, it's 1.1 crore. His base price was 2.2 crore, but they bought him for 1 crore.
Oh, interesting.
So again, Imad on half price. Let's buy him.
Let's get him. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. So basically, they do a little bit of a money ball situation. Who can we get for cheap that can do 80% the same job, and then we'll see what we can do with the rest of the 20. So it's an interesting concept, and it's paid dividends. They are 3-time champions. So interestingly, we'll see how that goes. I want to talk about Zalmi and Qalandars at the same time, because they're kind of the same on the leaderboard. 3 games, 2-1, 1 NR for Zalmi, so technically not lost the game. And Lahore has lost the game, so that's why they're below Zalmi in that ranking. But kind of similar tournaments. Zalmi, weirdly, like I said, had this huge game, that gap where we just forgot Babar was in the tournament. That was crazy. They did bounce back. They tried their best to lose their most current match, but they came back swinging, like you said, Iftimania. Iftimania has not been Iftimania in a while, and it was interesting to see how I feel about that after 2024 World Cup. I kind of was, to be honest, felt nothing.
Bro, he took 4 wickets and scored 15 off 10 balls, essentially winning the game single-handedly towards the end. So, I mean, I'm not buying this Iftimania agenda.
It's over.
Congrats to him. Happy for his success, but I think I don't want to see him near the Pakistan team for a very long time.
I think it's over. Near the Pakistan team situation, his favorite team is Bangla Tiger now. So yeah, that's what he's going to be doing.
But Bangla Tiger, not really a team anymore.
Okay, well, it's sad for Ifti then.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him. But
Ifti today, he rolled the clocks back to 1972.
What do you mean
by taking 4 wickets and scoring 15 runs?
Oh my god. Okay. And then Lahore Qalandars, pretty scandalful tournament for them, even before the start of the tournament. With if you're following the Qalandar brothers,
Hashtag Qalandar brother.
Yeah, if you're following that kind of scandal, it's been ridden with a lot of conspiracy theories on what's going on. And then you had the whole Sikandar Raza incident, and then right before that or right after that, you had the Fakhar Zaman incident, who was banned for 2 games.
Even though he appealed for his ban, but I don't think anything happened.
Yeah.
What I heard the POV of the Lahore camp is that these things happen all the time, like these tampering stuff, but it's because Fakhar got caught, which is why he got reprimanded. But this is a very common thing that happens.
As I understand it, he was just using his nails, so there was no foreign object being used to mature the ball. It was just nails and anything sharp that he could find on him. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, tampering itself is a serious allegation, but at the same time, yeah, I was listening to the Battafas. The Battafas were talking about the same exact thing, that T20 is such a batters dominant game that if you don't even let that kind of thing slide, it's not like the game was completely one-sided where they were getting bowled out for 72 and there was reverse swinging from the 4th over. This was like a team chasing 200, and we were in like the 18th over or 19th over.
14.06 was required.
Yeah, so things were different. And so I guess if he was caught, then he's doing his time. That's fine, and that's interesting to see how that comes back. I am interested in seeing how Fakhar comes back into this tournament. I did hear somewhere or read somewhere that he had said that he was planning to retire after the T20 World Cup, but now he wants to come back. I don't know. Could be AI. I'm the guy that thought that Babar and Shaheen were having an ice cream together at the World Cup. So I am also that person that is that gullible. But at the same time, it's interesting to see how Babar's team and Shaheen's team are kind of on a stalemate in the middle of the table. One can go up, one can go down from there. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think the one person that's always up is LemFi.
There we go.
And they're up in terms of having one of the most competitive rates on the market. I recently had a family friend reach out to me and tell me their story of using LemFi. And they said they signed up, they used the code BP50, and they sent $500 to Pakistan, and they got $50 back on their account as a credit. Because if you use the code BP50, you get 10% off up to 50 of whatever your currency is. It could be euros, pounds, USD, CAD, enter currency here. And they also told me that their transfer was delivered within minutes.
That's crazy.
And received in Pakistan within minutes.
That's insane. That's good. That's
and
good
they
for
had $50 towards their next transfer that they had. So download LemFi, use the code B50.
That's BP50. Use that code. Spoiler alert, that relative, that was me. And I had a great time using the platform.
They told me that the rate that they got was at least 5 rupees better than the competitor.
There we go.
And
again, still me.
And there was no transfer.
We are talking about me in third person.
No, this is not you, but this is someone else.
I'm just kidding. Thank you, LemFi, for sponsoring this podcast and sponsoring us throughout this journey. Hopefully, we will be continuing with them.
Yeah,
and
links to download the app or in the description, so you can take a look there.
Yeah, all the information you will find in the description below. All right, so we have Lahore Qalandars done. Now we're sort of in the bottom of the barrel. Quetta Gladiators. I really like what Shamil is doing. I don't like what Gladiators are doing around him. Shamil had 2 back-to-back 50s. One was a very fast 50, one was a pretty slow 50, and then he's kind of like simmered down since then. It happens. It's the start of the tournament, only 4 games played. But the games that they've lost, some of them were games that they should have won. And I don't know where their tactics are going wrong or how they're trying to implement their strategies, but it seems like it's not working for them. They're not as bad as the Pindiz or Kingsmen are, but it feels like a franchise that has won multiple times. It's kind of failing to deliver early on.
And they've had the same management for the past, I want to say at least few seasons. Like Moin Khan as coach, Nadeem Khan, I think, is their what's their manager's name? Who's like
Nadeem Umar?
No, who's like a Azam Khan. Azam Khan is their manager, who's like a very strict figure.
No relation to Moin Khan.
No relation to Moin Khan. He's a different figure. But like he's one of those guys who like he's disciplined. Like 9 p.m. I want guys in their beds, lights closed.
Who's Shahzad Muhammad?
Shahzad Muhammad is the son of Shoaib Muhammad.
Okay.
Played first-class cricket for Sindh, and then now he is a fitness trainer / strength and conditioning coach. He just joined the Hyderabad team.
My guy he's hacked the algorithm. He's always in my feed. Whenever I'm scrolling, third link is Shazza doing something or that or the other, talking about this fitness or
He's
that
the
fitness.
only guy who has an accent while speaking Urdu.
That's true. Is he from America?
I don't know where he's. I think he's married to like like a Pakistani actor.
Okay. But
Don't
that
know
doesn't
their
explain
name.
the accents, though.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's like the very, very thick burger accent.
Yeah.
Like you got to stay in
That's
KGS.
the accent people think we have
Yeah.
off the record, but we just talk like normal people. And then we have this Canadian accent when we're talking on camera. Yeah. Shazza, he got to look out for. How did I get to Shazza? Oh, I thought he was in Quetta. Well, he's in Hyderabad. We'll talk about them later. Quetta has some work to do. I'm keeping an eye on Shamil. I still think this is a breakout tournament for a lot of these new guys. The Minhas brothers, Shamil. I'm looking at Saad Masood. I want all these guys to be performing. And Shamil already, at one point, was wearing the green Inverex hat. But you know what's interesting? Hassan Nawaz plays for Quetta. And I was just looking at a stat. Last year in T20s, he scored 980 runs at an average of 30 at a strike rate of 154. And this year he scored, I'm forgetting what numbers he scored, but his average is like in the 20s and his strike rate is in the 120s.
Yeah, I think I've been tracking his progress.
What is that? Why is it downwards?
So ever since the Asia Cup, actually, he's been on a downturn. Flop in the Asia Cup, flop in the ILT20, flop in the BPL, and then a very hot and cold PSL so far. So what I've heard, it's a lot of it is just mental. Like, think about it from his point of view, right? He's from a small town called Laya, who I think he's the only international player from Laya to play for Pakistan. And he comes from Laya, first tour for Pakistan, scores a century against New Zealand in New Zealand, gains instant like fame and stardom and gets all these contracts. And so he's trying to find himself within this circuit. And like when I was following the Pakistan team in Florida, I felt like a lot of our players are like rock stars. Like they're on the road touring, where there's constant attention, selfies,
They are
signatures.
Like that. 100% like that.
You're staying out of a suitcase. And so if you don't have the right sort of guidance and like pathway to succeed, it's going to be hard for you to sustain at this level. And so I think he's kind of lost himself within the circuit. But I do think he could be an important piece in Pakistan's middle order batting in T20s going forward if he fixes his mental issues that he has.
Yeah, I hope it works out for him. Moving forward and moving towards the end of the table, you have to talk about the Kingsmen and Pindiz. You want to do them together or separately?
Let's do separately. Let's start with Kingsmen. And the reason why...
Where did it go wrong?
So I was like a really big fan of Kingsmen just because when I saw that they've drafted Saim Ayub and Maaz Sadakat, I was like, bro, I cannot wait for Maaz and Saim to open together. They have opened together. They opened today together. But they haven't been able to like fire. Maaz has had a few good innings, but Saim's PSL this year is looking like a duplicate of what happened last year. Averaging in the high teens, strike rate like 120s, 130s. And I don't know, like ever since he came back from injury, I don't think he ever really came back. And the fact that Saim has gone for such a big price tag, like the most expensive player in PSL history, almost like $500,000 USD, like 12.3 or 12.6 crores. Maybe that price tag is also like in the back of his head. He's bowling really well. Today, he took 2 wickets, economy of like 5 or 4 in his 4 overs. But his main primary job still remains to be scoring runs at the top, which he seems to be struggling with. I'm not sure if you guys had an opportunity, but Pakistan's current batting coach and Saim Ayub's childhood mentor, Hanif Malik, did an interview with Cricinfo. And he was asked about Saim's form, Babar's form, and he mentioned how Saim post-injury is struggling with his decision-making and struggling with handling and making decisions under high pressure. So another example of a guy coming through, performing at the domestic level, but now struggling to sustain consistently at the international level.
I would even go a step further. Performing in the domestic level, performing in the international circuit, making his name in 2 of the 3 formats, getting an injury, never recovering. And Saim was one of the people that actually PCB put a lot of money behind. Put a lot of money, time, attention behind. You know, we heard people like Hassan Ali talking about Saim is getting this special treatment. And it's very interesting to see that even... so when the PCB does not give that kind of input, then we get a situation like Shaheen Afridi, which would be like, is he injured? Is he not injured? I don't think we'll ever know. Fine. And then when they do put 100% of their effort behind someone's recovery, then we get a situation like Saim Ayub where he is back technically, but he's better as a bowler now than he has as a batsman. Like some of the ways that he's gotten out in this tournament is reminiscent or actually copy paste the struggles that he was having in the Asia Cup 6 months ago.
He's been found out.
Which is, swing it away on fourth or fifth stump. And he'll either sky it, nibble it, or edge it towards.
Or bowl on his pads and have a leg side dominant field, like a deep square leg, fine leg. He'll give a catch right there.
How do we know that sitting here thousands of miles away, being two podcasters who haven't played professional cricket or even club cricket in the past 7 months? If it's that easy, then yes, you will be found out many times like that. And a lot of these situations where Hanif Malik, I would agree with him, Saim's issue is decision making. You see him trying to sometimes be double-minded if he wants to pull a delivery or play it on the ground. And then that's what happens when like you are squared up at 145 by Peter Siddle.
On this technical issue, Hanif Malik mentioned that in Pakistan, players don't have an off season. Like they're playing cricket all year long. And so if there is a technical issue, they have no time to take time off from cricket, go in the nets, work a week or two on some stuff, and come back. Because you're playing cricket constantly for Pakistan, and then if you're not playing for Pakistan, you're engaged in leagues and domestic and PSL. Like in county cricket, you have like a few months of cricket that you're playing, and then you're off for a few months where you can work on your technical side. In Pakistan, there's no concept of that off season.
Yeah. I also think the Kingsmen, I don't know if they're running a cricket team or if they're running a marketing team.
Well,
Because I'm
their
confused.
marketing is bad also because they have like empty spots on their shirt.
They weren't able to sell sponsors.
Their main sponsor is Wisden. Wisden is a cricket magazine.
Yeah.
So I don't get how exactly Wisden sponsoring the PSL in Pakistan is helping their brand.
I don't know either. I was covering the PSL like regularly because of that.
I think they do articles on it. They do have a podcast channel as well. I'd love to collaborate. But I mean, look at other team sponsors, right? They have like Hire. They have like Karachi has Dollins, ARY.
I still think the HHK were marketing forward in the sense that their focus was on how do I get the Houston branding in there? How do I get the Kingsman branding in there? How do I get the CPL team? How do I build this empire under this name? Forgetting that results matter more. If they were at the top of the table, that would have given them more credit than just having this sort of forward-thinking marketing. And it seems like they favored their own players that played under the Kingsman banner more than they favored actually getting players that they would have preferred to win. I see the Masadaka and Saim Ayub selection as a positive, but then I see Hassan Khan, I see Shajil, I see
Hamad
Azam,
Saad Ali.
I see Marnus Labuschagne as their captain. How are we? I love Marnus. I think I said it on the podcast that there's one player that I want to be best friends with. That's Marnus Labuschagne. I think he's a genuinely funny person and a really good cricketer. He's a World Cup winner, Ashes winner. He's the guy. He's nowhere near T20 caliber. Yeah, let alone captain. When Saim Ayub is right there, you bought him for 12.5 crore rupees. You can't give him a captaincy hat. You could have had Marnus in the team without him being captain.
Well, today, the last over, it seemed like Hunan Shah was talking to Marnus and Saim to make a decision on what to ball against Ifti. Would it be a Yorker? Would it be a length ball? And so Saim was quite involved in those conversations. I think Hyderabad's bowling is also quite weak. Like Akif Javed, wayward left arm bowler. They've got Hunan Shah, inexperienced bowler. Muhammad Ali, who in Multan, he is like Glenn McGrath. But
Do you want
outside
to know
of
Muhammad Ali's
Multan,
bowling average this season?
outside of Multan, he is like Ashok Dinda. Like, he is so bad.
Do you want to know his average?
Tell me.
Guess.
Average 40.
52.5.
What's his economy?
10.86.
Lovely. So Muhammad Ali had one good season in the PSL where he was playing for Multan, and he was only good for Multan in the home matches that they played in Multan. Outside of Multan, like in Pindi, in Lahore, he was trash. And he continues to be trash. I don't know why he gets picked. Riley Meredith, good pick, but I think he wasn't playing today. Tikshana, decent pick, but if you have Saim already,
Exactly.
that's like a
Redundant. It's
Yeah.
so redundant. Again, Irfan Khan also a good pick, but hasn't been playing or showing up in this tournament. I do hope that he does get some numbers in there because I think he kind of looking at a larger Pakistan perspective, I think he kind of fits the requirement of that number 4, 5, 6 spot.
Kingsmen also have branched out to the CPL. They bought a
Again,
team. They bought the Jamaica team.
Great marketing team. Where's the results? Again, with Pindiz and Kingsmen. And Pindiz actually has, I can blame them more because they have competent people who have actually been in winning franchises like Islamabad United. I'm talking about Hassan Mir. Haris Mir. It just is interesting to me to see that they weren't able to form a team. Instead, they were able to just pick players in terms of announcement anxiety. Hey, we got this guy, we got that guy. Marnus Labuschagne is not the pick that HHK think they got and making him captain. Like, my whole shtick or my whole beef with the franchise right now is I wish they were cricket forward and they would have gotten a few more picks that were helping the team overall balance out as opposed to putting in their own people in there.
A lot of what Hyderabad is doing is reminding me of early Lahore Qalandars. And I think Hammer right now is working on a piece on what changed for Lahore and how they won like 3 championships in 4 years. And so he wanted our take on what we thought changed. And my analysis with that was the first thing they changed was their captaincy. They made Shaheen captain, which was a more aggressive approach, and he had a vision for the team. They also fixed their draft. They built a core team and they built their selections around that core team of Fakhr, Sikandar Raza, Abdullah Shafiq, Shaheen Afridi, a leg spinner in there, Zaman Khan, Haris Rauf. That was their core, David Wiese. And I think Hyderabad needs to learn from its franchises who have done well in the past. And right now, it seems like they're still figuring out how the PSL system works.
I think Islamabad did something similar to what you're talking about with Lahore, with having like 4 or 5 core people, and they still have those same core people rotating either in the team or in the management now with Rahman Reis playing for Islamabad since I don't know how long. Shadab obviously is there forever. And so, yes, definitely a good template to have that, but I just hope that these, from the get-go, from the start, these were bad decisions. And let's talk about another bad decisions, the Pindiz. Halfway into the tournament, still not a name that's having the ring to it that the Pindiz think they have. Is it the Pindiz? Is it the Rawal Pindiz? Is it the Rawal Pindiz? Nobody really knows. And at this point, I feel like nobody really cares.
Mohammad Rizwan as captain for the
The
PSL.
loudest, proudest team is the weirdest thing of all time.
In Pindiz and for Multan now, he's only won 1 of the last 14 matches, which is it's a concerning sign. Like Rizwan used to be a captain of Multan who would consistently finish at the top or amongst the top 2 or 3 teams, like going to the finals and like a few years in a row, winning at one time as well. So to see him lead a team that's finishing at the bottom now for 2 years in a row, there's something going on there. And I was hearing there's this Twitter thread of Talha Rahmani, CEO of Saya Corps, co-owner of Pindiz, talking about how they built the entire Pindiz team around Rizwan to sort of accommodate him, as I understood, for his batting style. But that hasn't really worked. And they've also tried to like induct a lot of Saya Corps players because the Harimani is the co-owner.
Great marketing team, but not
wonderful
a great cricket team.
Conflict of interest. Zaman Khan was retained, Rizwan was retained, Yasir Khan was retained, Inzam Mahmud Haq was their president plus mentor. All of these guys, Saya Corps. And unlucky for them, Zaman got injured. Naseem is now injured.
Yeah.
Amir isn't looking like the best like he used to be.
He got smacked by Azam, bro.
A lack of match practice and
too much TV practice.
He's lost pace. He's lost some of his,
zip
that he had in the past. So my opinion is if your bowling isn't working, you're not going to win tournaments. And I mean, at the top, Rizwan in this format, we know already he's just not a good fit.
Yeah, they even have Rishad Hussain, which I thought was a good pick. Not really getting much. Asif Afridi as well. The Naseem Shah blow is definitely a blow. He's been already embroiled in a lot of controversy on the start of the season, and then now he gets a side strain. The next game he's coming back. It's tough. And he's out for at least a couple of weeks, if not the whole tournament. Not looking good for him, but he was also one of the most expensive players, I believe, in the PSL. And
I think top 3. It was Saim, Fahim, and Naseem was top 3.
I mean, it's tough, man. What can I say? Bad team selection and bad planning and execution for both the new teams. I don't remember Multan Sultans being this bad when they got injected into the PSL.
It's because they had the right people involved. Whenever they took over, they had, I believe, was it Andy Flower?
Yeah.
Andy Flower was their coach. Heather Azhar was involved early on. Wasim Akram was the team director. Sean Masood was the captain. So they were always that forward-thinking franchise. And they had at least the right professionals in for the right jobs.
Again, the Ashton Turner captaincy decision, the Marnus Labuschagne captaincy decision, none of that makes sense. And then Mohammad Rizwan captaincy decision.
But Ashton Turner, I mean, number 1 on the table.
He's number 1 on the table.
And number 3, I think, in the think he's impact or like run scorers.
I get it, but again, it's not giving the same.
The Ashton Turner thing still makes sense because he's won the BBL with Perth Scorchers 3 times. So there's still some reasoning behind that. The Marnus thing doesn't make sense at all.
Okay, I can live with that argument. I still think Ashton Turner is not the household name that they think that he is, especially in the PSL. People really don't know who Ashton Turner is. He's still in the top of the table with the Sultans, but I still think that's a bad call. You should have made a local player a captain and have Ashton Turner in the team. Nobody's against having these. Let's be honest, these Gora players in the PSL. I would love to see more. Honestly, just giving them command is interesting to me because how do you build a core out of them? Marnus is in this season, he's not in the next season. Ashton is in this season, he's not in the next season. Riley Rousseau became captain of Quetta after like his 4th or 5th year playing in the PSL, which is fine. David Wiese, if he was captain of Qalandars, nobody would bat an eye because he's sort of proved his mettle over time. Giving Turner a brand new franchise out of the blue, just is interesting to me.
Apparently, it was Tim Payne's call, who is the coach of Sultan, and he was appointed by.
A lot of these coaches are also Goras.
Yeah,
are we like out of Desi coaches?
I don't mind Goras. I do miss that we don't have a lot of English players anymore because this window is clashing with the county season. Like back in the day, I remember we used to get like a lot of the upcoming English cricketers in the PSL. Harry Brook, David Milan was a PSL legend, and so many more players that we would have in the PSL. What's that left arm spinner's name? For Zalmi, he used to play for Zalmi.
Is the guy with the glasses?
He played for England in the World Cup. Left arm spinner, righty batsman. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm forgetting right now.
Horrible with names.
Me too. But people will tell us in the comments below who that was.
Liam Dawson.
There we go. Did you see Babar's press conference?
I did.
Don't compare with Virat Kohli. 5 years too late, I would say.
No, I heard him say how he was trying his best to improve. How he is trying to finish matches today,
and then he has finished matches. But did you see him stop the reporter?
I didn't see that.
So the reporter said कि basically आप जो है matches finish नहीं कर पाते और आपको जैसे compare किया था विराट कोहली वो matches finish कर पाते हैं. So like what do you have to say about that? He like immediately cut the question. I was like, I'll stop right there. Like मैं आपको यहीं रोक लेता हूँ. आप कुछ और पूछ लें. इसका जवाब मैं नहीं दूंगा.
Wow.
And then he went off to like matches मैंने भी finish किए. Then what you saw basically.
Why did Babar come to the presser? Wasn't FT the player of the match?
I don't know. Captain.
And Sufyan took 4 wickets as well.
I don't know. Well, he's not going to come back for a while after that presser. It was a tough one to watch. Babar, man, having an interesting little moment here with the T20 stuff. Still averaging in the mid-30s, I would say, but still strike rate is 127. Not even Rizwan is even worse than that, averaging in the low 20s, and strike rate is low 120s. So it's tough.
Yeah. At least Babar is kind of like in the runs with respect to like him still being stacked around Haris and Kusal Mendes.
Haris' first ball today in the game hit for 6.
That's as Haris as it gets. Yeah. I think with Babar, I still saw his batting today, and there was one shot he hit. His back toe still turned over and he got squared up, but at this level, he was able to still manage it. I think internationally, this might get more seriously exposed.
Is there a gap after the PSL for the next series for Pakistan?
So from what I know, we don't have any white ball coming up, but we do have 2 tests against West Indies in Trinidad, followed by a tour of the UK where we have 3 tests there.
That's like, and then we don't have any white ball in the middle?
You never know. Something might get scheduled in between, but for now, there's nothing there.
Interesting. All right, I guess that's a good PSL roundup. We kind of covered everything, all the team, the squads, the individual players, the table. Is there anything we're missing?
Not that I can think of. Oh, Peter Siddle was interesting. He's 41 years old, and I saw him clock 144 clicks.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is supreme fitness.
He got time out in a very ridiculous manner.
Yeah. Like, man, like this guy's still playing, which is insane. Also, in parallel, Jimmy Anderson's still playing county cricket for Lancashire. That is even more commendable because he's playing 4-day cricket, right? That's more overs he's bowling per day. So, yeah, legends.
Legends, 100% legends. Do you want to talk about the IPL?
I've been following the IPL a little bit here and there. I saw Vaibhav Suryavanshi take Bumrah to the cleaners.
I saw that too.
2 sixes in his first 3 balls. Like the audacity on this guy. And now there's conversations around possibly putting him in the Indian team because they have a tour against Zimbabwe coming up. And Zimbabwe is typically a tour where India hands out caps to a lot of youngsters. And looking at his batting, he looks like the finished product. I don't know how much India wants to let him cook in domestic and in the IPL. But as much as I've seen his batting, he's got a killer mindset, a insane bat swing, and I think he's gonna really put a lot of competition for the top order spot, maybe in the next few years. But for now, they're gonna probably still back Abhishek Sharma.
Yeah, I think so too. But this guy's super exciting. I know we were talking about it in the Kumail Nanjiani podcast too, and like a 15-year-old smacking, or 16 now, I guess, smacking Bumrah down the ground like that. First ball he's faced. Man, it's gonna be tough. A tough few years as a Pakistan cricket fan if you're following. But an interesting turn of events there. We'll keep an eye on the IPL as well. Trying to look for the Logan Cup. I don't know where you found it before, but
Logan Cup is over.
who won?
No winners.
Only
It was just
participation.
it was a
trophy?
series of matches happening, and I think Rocks finished at the top. It was,
Sorry,
I think it was
excuse
a 4-day tournament, and they just finished on April 1st, I believe. And there was no winner. There was no semifinals. There was just a tournament happening.
The
I guess-
Mashinland Eagles won, Rashad. Excuse you. They won 7. They played 7 matches, won 4, lost 1. And yeah, congratulations to them, to the Eagles, as we say. All right, so I guess that's us. It's been a while since we've potted. I hope we're not super rusty. Hopefully, now that I'm starting to feel better and didn't cough as much in this podcast, we'll make this a bit more regular. There is a podcast which we're going to do next. There's going to be the post Kumail Nanjiani podcast, where if you have any questions about our Nanjiani experience, you can leave the questions in the description below. We'll be posting something on Instagram and Twitter as well. And obviously, you can join the Patreon, which is in the description below. You can join it for support. You can join it for the WhatsApp group. You can join it for the executive producer tier. And you can join it for any future merch that drops soon. All right. I think that's everything from us today, Bashar. Anything else you want to say to the fans before you check out?
There's a bowler from India. He clocked 150 plus in
Yeah, I
the
saw
IPL. Ashok Sharma, I believe. So good talent to watch out for. I think India has really been lacking that express pace ball for a very long time. They had what's that bowler from Kashmir?
Beats me.
His name starts with a U.
Umesh Yadav.
No, not Umesh Yadav. Umran Malik.
Umran Malik.
So he was good. Played for a few matches, quite wayward, got dropped, and then last couple of years they had this bowler named Mayank Yadav, I believe. Clock 150, injured again. So I think if they can find like one express pace bowler, they don't really need it right now, but it would be a good addition to have.
Always good to have someone who's clocking 150 regularly. I guess that's it for us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you'll tune in for more. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk behind.